recording, and then we'll get cracking. Share my screen. Right, so this is our last class before the summer break. Yeah. I detect a slight demopathy atmosphere, which is good. We're all ready for a break, and if we can get away on holiday, so much the better. All being well, we'll be back on the 4th, I think it's the 14th of September, and at the moment I'm planning that we'll start again with classes in the Copeland Centre, face-to-face, proper classes. We may have to do some kind of I don't know what the regulations will be there. Nobody seems to have a clear idea, and I guess nobody really knows what's going to happen over the summer. Hopefully things will quieten down, and this current surge will diminish, and we can start again. But we'll just wait and see. But I'll let everybody know in good time, and I'll also check whether you want to join the class or not. I've had quite a few people saying they do, and so we've started to build a little list. But I'll check with everybody beforehand so we can be sure. So let's get cracking on today's lesson. What have we got? ¿Qué tenemos esta semana? We're doing last week's homework, la tarea de la semana pasada, and then just want to go through hotel bookings. If we've got time, we'll do some puedes decir, a few items for us to name, and that's pretty much it. So let's have a look at last week's homework to kick us off. We had 7 sentences to translate, and how did we get along with those? I thought that the poor folk who end up at the top of my list always seem to they get lumbered with doing the homework first, and it always seems to be the same people. I've gone down to the bottom, and Abigail's at the bottom. She's one of those normally that gets lumbered. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll start in the middle. So right. Amanda is in the middle. We normally get round to Amanda. Amanda, can you translate these 3 sentences? What did you have? Sorry, I've caught you in the middle of you still having your breakfast.
Antes de irme a la cama, me lavo la cara y me limpio los dientes.
Yes, pretty good. Don't forget. Now, you said. Did you say voy a la cama?
De a la cama.
Sorry.
De irme a la cama.
De irme. Yeah. Okay.
I go myself.
Yeah. Okay. Antes me acuesto. Acuesto is me acuesto. I lie myself down. It's generally go to bed. Antes de dormir is a good one. You bang on with me lavo, and of course we say la cara, not mi cara. Y me limpio los dientes. You can lavo los dientes, I guess, wash the teeth. But limpio los dientes. And again, it's the teeth, not my teeth. How about number 2? The windows in the kitchen are open. Can you close them, please? There's a storm tonight.
las ventanas de la cocina están abiertas. ¿Puedes cerrarlas, por favor? Hay una tormenta esta noche.
Brilliant. Yeah, very good. Very good. De la cocina. It's not a ch, just probably would be a ch in Italian. Cocina están abiertas. Good, well done. Number 3, I want to hire a car for 3 days from Wednesday to Friday.
Quiero alquilar un coche durante 3 días de miércoles a viernes.
See, yeah. We'd say a el viernes. So always use the definite article when we're talking about dates. But of course, it's a el becomes al. So and de el becomes del. So del miércoles al viernes. Quiero alquilar un coche por 3 días. Yeah. Now I've said desde el miércoles hasta el viernes. You can say de and a. It's no difference. It's completely interchangeable. No worries at all with that. I'm getting a bit of feedback on here. Is anybody else experiencing feedback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to mute. So de and a from to is fine, but you can substitute with desde or hasta. In this instance, they're completely interchangeable. It doesn't matter which one you use, but do remember to apocophate if you're using de and a. Del al. That's the rules. So perfect. So we had Amanda. Let's go down to let's try Paul. Otherwise known as admin. You have muted yourself, Paul. That's great, but we need to unmute you. Still muted. There we go.
There we go. Sorry about that. Now I don't mind being admin. Come on, hurry up. We're going to be late. Vamos data prisa, vamos a llegar tarde.
Yeah. We'd say vamos is come on. Yeah, that's so we go. Vamos, we go. For come on, they as a sort of imperative, slightly impatient exclamation. The Spanish do say venga, venga. And it's rarely said once, it's generally said twice. And having, having had 3 children and a number of grandchildren, I sort of sympathize. Date prisa, give yourself haste. Hurry up. Vamos a llegar tarde. Perfect. You can say it's Paul here. You don't have to say it's Eric Ray now. I'm fine.
No, it's all right. No problem.
Whatever you want.
Es admin aquí. Tengo un problema con el carro.
See? Can you, because caro has 2 R's, we should give it a good old roll of the R.
Carro.
Carro, yeah. If you can't roll your R's, and I'm terrible at rolling my R's, it's a good idea to just have a little pause, go carro. and make it two R's like that. To say it's you, you could just say, and they do this a lot in. I've heard it a lot anyway. Instead of saying "Está Eric aquí," you just say "Soy Eric Reina." I'm Eric Reina. It sounds a bit weird to us. We'd never say that in English, but the Spanish do it a lot. My daughter-in-law would say, "Soy yo." It's I am me, I am I, but it's like I'm here, it's me. She'd say, "Soy yo." So "Soy Eric Reina" is fine. "Está Eric aquí" is fine as well. Tengo un problema. Don't forget problema, even though it ends in an a, is a masculine noun. Con el carro. Paul, it's broken down. It's on the street outside my apartment.
El carro se ha rota. Está en la calle fuera de mi apartamento.
Muy bien, muy bien. Don't say "se ha roto." That's it's broken. If it's your leg that's broken, it's fine to say "ha roto." But dañado, and it's weird because it means degraded. So it's like I don't know. It's like it probably applies to quite a few of my cars actually. It's sort of rusting, decomposing. But it is used for a car that's no longer working. Se ha dañado. Está en la calle fuera de mi apartamento. I've said apartamento. That's a bit of a Latin American phrase. The Spanish would know exactly what it meant, but they would tend to say piso, piso in Spain. Do I need to pay in advance for the tickets?
Tengo que pagar por adelantado. I did have to look that up. Para los boletas.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Antelación.
Antelación. Yours is fine. There's lots of ways of saying the same thing in Spanish, just as there is in English. So what you said was bang on. Boletas, it could be billetas. There's 2 or 3 different words for tickets. Entradas is another one. So it's perfectly okay. Good. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Any questions about the homework?
No.
Okay. So we're going to move on to booking a hotel room. So we're trying to make our Spanish practical, useful to you if you're a traveller in Spain and you've got limited Spanish language. We're trying to stick to things that are going to be useful for you. So we want to book a hotel room. Maybe you want to do it by phone or email, or you just ship up, think, oh, it's a nice place. We'll see if they've got a room for the night. I think by now you should have a good enough command of all the different verbs that you need to be able to ask for a hotel room, to say what you want. There's a few nouns that we probably haven't got. Un balcón. You need a balcony when you're on holiday, don't you, really? Especially if you're on the sunny side of the hotel. Un balcón. It's a near cognate. You can guess what it is. balcon. We use ensuite, which I've been using for so long. It's an English word, probably French by the sound of it. Ensuite, to say a bathroom next to the room. The Spanish don't tend to use that. They call it un baño privado. So if you want a room with an ensuite bathroom, con un baño privado. Aire acondicionado is air conditioning. It's a lot harder to say, to get your tongue around than air conditioning is, but it's very useful depending on depending where you're going to. A bedroom, I normally use habitación. You can say, you can just simply call it, you can go into a hotel and say, hay camas, are there beds? And they'll know exactly what you mean. But I prefer to use habitación. It just helps me to reel off the list of things I want to ask for. A double room is una habitación doble, and a double bed is una cama doble. So that's fairly straightforward, isn't it? So let's have a look at these requests. So where are we? Lorraine Miller. Hola, Lorraine. How would you say, I want a twin room ensuite with a balcony?
Quiero una habitación doble con un baño privado y un balcón.
Muy bien, muy bien. So there's an ugly rumor going around, mainly spread by my wife, that I'm a terrible snorer. I don't believe this. I've never heard myself snore, but she claims I do. So when we're away, she always likes to have twin beds to get as far away from me as possible. I don't know how we've managed to stay married for so long. Quiero una habitación doble con dos camas will get you a double room with twin beds. Un baño privado y un balcón. Yeah, perfect. Well done. Now the verb to stay is quedar. Because you're staying somewhere, we'd make it reflexive. So we'd use quedarse. So you need the reflexive pronouns. So Lorraine, how would you say, I want to stay for 3 days?
Quiero quedarme por 3 días.
Exactly. Exactamente. Muy bien. So, quiero, I want, quedar, to stay. So, because we've got the two verbs together, we conjugate the first one. The second one remains in the infinitive. But because it's a reflexive verb, it does take the ending that's as applicable. So if you wanted to say, this is my next question. No, it's not. We want to stay for 3 days. We'd say, queremos quedarnos por 3 días. So you do have to adapt the reflexive verb to reflect what who wants it, who is staying. Okay, is that clear for everybody? The reflexive verbs are a bit of a problem from time to time. It took me a good couple of years to get my head around reflexive verbs. Really did. I think I understand them now. Okay, thank you, Lorraine. Apple, can you have a crack at the next lot? So the verb to arrive is llegar. It's one of those Spanish verbs that means loads of things, but to arrive is a very common use of it. So how would you say, I will arrive on Friday? Now, I don't expect you to conjugate in the future tense. If you want to, that's great. But by all means, use the verb ir to create the future tense. So I am going to arrive on Friday. It's up to you.
Okay. Voy a llegar el viernes.
Yeah, bang on the money. How would you say we will arrive on Saturday?
Vamos a llegar el sábado.
Yeah, bang on, vamos. Vamos. And we will arrive on Saturday and we will stay for a week.
Vamos a llegar el sábado y vamos a quedarnos por una semana.
Muy bien. I wouldn't worry about doing the vamos. I know it's like you've translated it exactly as I've written the sentence.
Okay.
Y quedarnos would be fine. But what you said is perfectly good. Perfectly good.
Okay.
And can you tell the receptionist that you want a double room with a double bed and an ensuite bathroom for 2 nights?
Queremos una habitación doble con un baño privado por 2 noches.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay. I would like quisiera, I've said. Una habitación doble. No, what you said is perfectly good. You said we want a double room. That's fine. Con cama doble y un baño privado por 2 noches. Well done. Perfect. Does anybody have any questions? If anybody's got any questions about these or not, something doesn't seem very clear, do pipe up. You can either put your virtual hand up or take yourself off silent and shout. Don't mind which. Perfectly okay. Okie dokie. Abigail, you have a crack at the next lot. Can you ask how much the room costs and whether the price includes breakfast?
¿Cuánto cuesta la habitación? ¿El desayuno está incluido?
Yeah, good. I've said this slightly differently. Yours is okay. We're not trying to absolutely match it. We're trying to ask what the meaning is. So I just said, ¿Cuál es el precio de la habitación? Está incluido el desayuno. Muy bien. Can you, Abigail, ask if the room's got air conditioning and if there's a restaurant in the hotel? 2 questions there.
¿Hay aire acondicionado en la habitación? ¿Hay un restaurante en el hotel?
Yeah, excellent. Try that. The word for restaurant is a weird one. Restaurante. So you've got that owl in the middle. Restaurante. It's quite different from the English restaurant or now restaurante. Is there an ensuite bathroom?
¿Hay un baño privado?
Yeah, bang on the money. Well done, good. sometimes sometimes in Ecuador I've had to ask for a heater in the room, calefacción. It's no houses in Ecuador have heating, and it I'll get cold sometimes, but they don't seem to bother. I'm not sure in most hotels just have air conditioning, don't they? And I tend to stay in nicer hotels these days, and you just set the room temperature, so it's warm or cold depending on what you want. But it's not often you need heating. Do you have heating in your place in the Canaries, Ian? Do you have heaters in the room or not? Ian's on mute. Do you have heating?
No. Well, we have got some heating, but it's not permanently installed there.
Yeah,
no, they don't normally. They don't
just
normally.
get a fan heater, don't you? Or
Yeah,
like that.
that's what. And it can be cold there in January when it's if it's raining.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ian, can you in your hotel room? Can you ask? Is there a shower?
Kira, I can't remember what shower was. Dusha.
Ducha. Sí,
Ducha.
sí.
Ducha.
Don't forget this wonderful Spanish word called hay, which means there is. So you can simply say, hay una ducha. There's a shower, which with a little inflexive at the end turns it into a question. Hay una ducha? And Ian, I want to stay for one night only.
Kira, una noche. I don't know what only is in Spanish.
Solo.
Solo.
Yeah, solo. So I want one night only. I want to stay would be
Quedarme.
Quedarme. I think you've passed the test of would you be understood. I want one night would be fine for they'd be bang on with that. What about I want a room with a sea view?
Quiero una habitación con vista de la mar.
Del mar. Yeah,
Del mar.
You can apocopape that del mar. Quiero una habitación, and not una habitación, una habitación. Con vista hacia el mar. Con vista del mar is fine. Hacia el mar is towards the sea. So that you may use that, or you may say del mar, view of the sea, view towards the sea, view of the sea. Means the same thing, doesn't it? It's absolutely fine. So we've got a list of hotel facilities. Can we say what they are? Karen, can you identify these features of this fine hotel?
Underground parking, restaurants, bath and shower, television in the room, heating, a shop, swimming pool, hairdressing, tennis court, and Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is what they say it is. Now, I had a very strange experience in the. I'm going to sound a real poshy here, but I was in the first class lounge in the airport in Mexico City. I had a really long changeover. The reason I was in the first class lounge was I got a first class ticket really cheap. Because it was Aero Mexico, and
they went bust soon afterwards. And so I got a ticket to Ecuador. I changed in Mexico City, which was quite nice. But I did have a 12-hour stopover, which wasn't very nice. But I could use the first class lounge, and I went and asked them for the code for the Wi-Fi, and the chap thought I wanted a glass of whiskey. It was 8:30 in the morning, so I couldn't get anything that I'd like a glass of whiskey every now and again, but definitely not at 8:30 in the morning. So ever since that embarrassing incident, which wanted a bit of clearing up, once he had it in his head that I wanted a whiskey, he was pretty determined to give me one. I always ask about internet, and that's one of those global words that works everywhere. So we'll assume that you've made a reservation and you arrive at your hotel. It's time to check in. So here's some of the things that might be said. The hotel receptionist may say, Giselle, would you? I want you to practice your Spanish speaking voice. So, can you read these out for us, and can you tell us what they mean? Do you know what they all mean?
Okay. ¿Tiene usted una reserva or una reservación?
Sí.
Do you have a reservation?
Muy bien.
Nombre de quién? What's the name?
Yeah.
Sí, señor. Aquí está. Yes, sir. Here it is. Señor, me pone aquí su dirección, número de pasaporte, su firma aquí y su tarjeta de crédito, por favor. Sir, can you put here your address, passport number, your firm here and here, and your...
Su firma is your signature. So basically they're saying sign here and here, yeah?
Here and here, and your credit card, please.
Yeah, that's the most important. You're not going to get away with that.
Señor, su habitación es la 2097. Está subiendo las escaleras a mano derecha y bienvenido. Sir, your room is 2097. It's up the stairs.
Yeah.
On your right, and welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right hand side.
Bang on. Okay, so we're going to thank you, Giselle. Let's take a look in a bit more detail. ¿Cuál es su apellido, por favor? Basically asking for your surname there. ¿Cuál es su nombre is your name. They may ask this in a different way. They may say el nombre, por favor, something like that. What is your name? We've been using is como, and it should have an accent on the first part there, but I've missed it out. Como se llama, por favor? What do you call that tends to be when you're introducing yourself to somebody or asking somebody's name in a social gathering. ¿Cuál es su nombre might be more familiar if it's a formal situation like checking into a hotel. And por favor, just switch my phone on to silent, I have to do that for you. Por favor, me da el número de su pasaporte. Give me your passport number, please. Now, I never used to be asked for passport numbers in Spain. They might have started doing it now post Brexit, but in Latin America, when you're traveling around, everybody wants to know your passport number, and I took to sticking it on my mobile phone to make it easier. And su dirección permanente is your permanent address. So, how long will you stay? ¿Por cuántos días va a permanecer aquí en el hotel? ¿Por cuántos días va a quedarse aquí en el hotel? ¿O cuántos días se quedará en el hotel? Quedará is a future tense. So any one of those is how long you're going to stay. Pick out the key words when you're listening to conversations. It's ever so difficult. One of the most difficult things for a new Spanish speaker is actually listening to somebody speak Spanish and understand what they say. It sounds terribly fast. Spanish speakers that I've complained to about this say that English sounds just as fast if you don't understand the language. So it's not really a speed of speaking so much as not understanding that's our problem. But they do talk fast. It is one of the fastest languages. They have some really long words, and they have some really short, concise ways of saying things, but they also have some really long ways of saying something. That in English you can use 2 words, and they'll have 22. But try to pick out just the just a few key words. You'll know what's being said. Never say "sí" if you don't know what's been said to you. Always be sure that you understand before nodding and saying "sí." And finally, the bill. ¿En qué forma nos cancelaría su cuenta? Or ¿cómo le gustaría pagar? I spoke asking how you're going to pay for the room. Cancelaría su cuenta is settle your bill. But chances are you won't be asked this. You'll just be asked for your credit card at the beginning, and then they've got it, and that's it. There's no getting away from it. So that's booking into a hotel. Any questions about booking into the hotel? Is everybody comfortable with the verbs that you need to do that? Quedarse and querer, the 2 critical ones you really need. I want, we want to, and to stay. So get those fixed in your head, and don't forget that quedarse is reflexive. So you need to use the reflexive pronouns on the end of the verb. So making complaints. Well, we can always find something wrong with a hotel room, can't we, as a rule? Often it's not enough to complain about, but sometimes we have to. So if we're going to make a complaint is queja. Tengo una queja. Quiero hacer una queja. Tengo una queja. I have a complaint. Quiero hacer una queja. I want to make a complaint. Then you're off with whatever the complaint is. If something's missing, it's just easier to say no I, and then whatever it is. I, there is. No I, there isn't. There is not. And it substitutes for, no I toallas, there are no towels. So it's a really concise way of saying that there is something's a problem there. There's something missing. If something is not working, not funciona is a good way of saying it. No funciona. No funciona. Depending what part of Spain you're in, what part of the world you're in. If something's dirty, está sucio. Now, this is gender sensitive. So, está for a singular thing. Sucio if it's masculine. Sucia if it's feminine. If it's more than one, we're talking about sucios, sucias. And obviously we have to say están if it's more than one. So if we want to say the towels are dirty, towels are feminine, las toallas están sucias, getting the plurals and the gender correct. Okay, the towel is dirty. La toalla está sucia. So let's move on to make some complaints. So what I want to do is we'll pick somebody here and we'll get them to make a complaint, and then I will respond to your complaint as the hotel manager. I want you to tell me if you're in the Ritz or if you're in Faulty Towers. The response might not be quite as good as you want it to be. So the first one, who haven't we had yet? Not had Adrian yet, have we? Adrian, can you go through? You've got a long list of complaints here. There are no towels in the bathroom.
No hay toallas en el baño.
Muy bien. The response: Lo siento, la criada va a traer ahora. Are you in the Ritz or are you in Faulty Towers?
The jury's out.
Jury's out. Let's have a look. No hay toallas en el baño.
If she turns up, we're in the Ritz.
She turns up in the Ritz. Lo siento is a good is a good keyword. Yeah, I'm sorry. La criada las va a traer ahora. The maid will bring them now. Okay. So you're getting your.
I didn't spot that ahora meant now. I thought it meant something like in an hour.
Sorry. Okay, the towels. So you've got some towels, but they're dirty.
Las toallas en el baño están sucias.
Muy bien, muy bien. Lo siento, vamos a cambiarlas ahora. Ritz or Faulty Towers?
El Ritz.
El Ritz, yes. So, las toallas en el baño están sucias. Lo siento, vamos a cambiarlas ahora. Vamos a cambiarlas. We're going to change them. So cambiar is to change. If you say cambiarlas, it's to change them. The pronoun will hook on the end. That's fine. Whoops, we knew the answer there, Adrian. The television isn't working.
La televisión no funciona.
No funciona. Vale, alguien va a recibirla. Ritz or Faulty Towers? Vale, alguien va a recibirla.
You got me there. I don't know what you're saying.
No, okay. La televisión no funciona. It's perfectly good. Vale is okay. Okay. You may hear Spanish people say okay. Again, it's one of those things that is now pretty universal, but often they'll say vale. So okay, alguien. Alguien is somebody.
Someone.
Yeah. Va a recibirla. Somebody is going to look at it. Yeah, check it. Muy bien. The room is dirty, Adrian. I wouldn't
La habitación es sucia.
Está sucia. Sí. So el cuarto está sucia. Possibly la habitación is what I would want to say. Está sucia. So cuarto is masculine, so it's sucio. Habitación is feminine, so it's sucia. So where are we? The next one is
El aire acondicionado no funciona.
Muy bien. And if you were told, no hace calor hoy.
That's Faulty Towers. It's not hot today.
Yeah. You English. I don't know. You need air conditioning. It's only 20 degrees. Very good. Good. Who else? Who haven't we had yet? Carl. We've not had Carl. What about these complaints, Carl? How do you feel about these? The bathroom is dirty.
El baño es sucio.
Es sucio. We'd say está. We'd use está rather than ser.
It looked permanently dirty.
We don't. It's permanently dirty.
This room's never been cleaned.
El baño está sucio. Okay, so the response from the reception is no tenemos limpiadores. Vamos a limpiarlo más tarde. Are you in Faulty Towers or the Ritz?
Can you repeat that, please?
No tenemos limpiadores.
We don't have any clean.
Yeah, muy bien. Vamos a limpiarlo más tarde.
We're going to clean it later.
Yeah.
That's sort of Faulty Ritz.
Faulty Ritz. Yeah, good. There's no soap in the bathroom. Can you remember what soap is?
I know Seife. No, Seife's German. So I can't remember.
Abon. Yeah.
Abon. I know Abon and El Baño.
Yeah. Don't say I know. No, I.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
No, I. Baño, but Abon and El Baño.
Muy bien. Yep. No hay Abon en El Baño. So the answer is usted tiene que comprar su propio jabón. Usted tiene que comprar su propio jabón.
La cama está sucia.
Are you in the Ritz?
Sorry, I forgot the reply. Go on, what's the reply again?
Okay. Usted tiene que comprar su propio jabón.
Faulty Towers.
Faulty Towers. What am I saying?
You're saying go and buy your own.
That's right. You have to buy your own soap. Yeah. The bed is dirty.
La cama está sucia.
La cama está sucia. Sí. Muy bien. Lo siento mucho, señor. La criada va a venir de inmediato.
That's the Ritz. They're going to clean it immediately. They're very sorry.
Yeah. The maid's going to come immediately. Okay, the toilet is not working. It doesn't flush. A common problem in certain parts of Ecuador.
El servicio no funciona. No agua. No agua.
Okay. Yeah. This is a tricky one, isn't it? El servicio is the service, yeah, and that's used for toilets all the time. The actual toilet, we'd say inodoro. Okay.
I didn't remember.
Inodoro no funciona. No se descarga. To flush. So you could use descarga. That means to discharge. It's not discharging. I don't think there is a. I mean, the verb to flush in English is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? So Spanish probably would say the toilet isn't discharging. You could use the verb tirar to kick or throw. No se tira. It's not throwing away. Or enjuagar, to rinse. So either any of those might work. Can you remember what the noun is for a sink, Carl?
No.
Fregadero. Yeah, and it ends in O, so it's a pretty good chance it's masculine.
El fregadero.
See?
Está no funciona.
Bloqueado is
bloqueado.
Yeah, it's almost a cognate, so it's an easy one to remember. Bloqueado. The water doesn't drain away. Now look at the toilet, and you can use the same thing.
El agua no descarga.
Yeah, you do need the
no se descarga.
Sí, muy bien. Yeah, that looks good.
El fregadero está bloqueado. El agua no se descarga.
So it's a nice sentence to say, isn't it? It sounds quite Spanish, that one. So well done. Where are we? It's 10:56. Gosh, that's a really fast hour. We'll just we'll flick over the puedes decir. I'll put it in the lesson notes, so you can take a look at them. These are good. Learning a few of these is good for your vocab. Learning a few nouns. So, can you name 4 objects that you'd find in a lounge? These were my suggestions, so we'll send that through. 4 objects that you'll find in a bedroom. These were my suggestions. I'll send these through as well on the notes. And 3 domestic tasks. So again, I'll send those through. Just before we finish, I wanted to just talk about Spanish in 5 minutes. So to finish off, we'll be back in September, fingers crossed. And how would you say fingers crossed in Spanish? So to cross is cruzar, fingers are dedos, and if you Google it, to Google is now an official verb in the Spanish language, just like it is in the English language. So googleo, I Google, googleas, you Google, googlea, googleamos, googleáis, googlean. So it will conjugate as an AR verb. So Google translates it as dedos cruzados, fingers crossed. But it's one of those that you can't translate literally into Spanish. And the Spanish don't say fingers crossed, they say we are crossing the fingers. So we'll be back in September. Crucemos los dedos. So vamos a regresar en el 14 de septiembre. Crucemos los dedos. Like I say, I'll keep us informed about that and see what's happening. So 1 or 2 of you have taken the online Spanish test to see what level you're at. I think it's been a bit harsh on some of you, but I shouldn't moan about it. It's free. So if you know your level of grammar, it's worth getting a couple of books over the summer just to read, and I suggested some Paco Ardit books based on A1 and A2 and B1. I know some of you were high A2 level, and I know some of us have read B1 books. So if you want a bit of a challenge, read a level above. If you just want to polish your vocab and your grammar, read the level that's appropriate to you. And don't worry about even if you're A2 or B1. Reading an A1 book is fine. You'll find it pretty easy. I've read a couple in the last week, and I do occasionally think, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting way of saying it. Or what on earth's that word? I don't remember ever seeing that word or that verb before. So you do pick up things, maybe things you've forgotten, things you didn't know. It's worth doing them. So I'll include that list. So that's I'll stop sharing. Here we go. Have a great summer, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the course this time.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
It's been really weird doing it on Zoom. It's much nicer together. So I hope we'll be able to. I know quite a few of you are repeating the course, and it'd be great to see you in September. We'll have a few new faces as well, maybe. It's Activities Day in a couple of weeks' time, or week on Saturday, I think, and we're doing it on Zoom, so it's going to be a bit of a strange one. I'd be ever surprised if anybody actually turns up, but you never know. So we may have a few new faces, who knows. Have a great summer. Hope you can get away on holiday. hope the bowls are rolling for you, Jane. I know you're a bit of a bandit. You've got a couple of titles to defend. So have a great summer, everybody.
And you. Bye.
Nos vemos el septiembre.
Sí.
Muy bien. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.